Hello YouTube, let's learn C++ and here's the plan. We will have two dedicated playlists, one for basic C++ with 60 tutorials and object-oriented approach for 30 tutorials. So I assume that I will need 1 month or something to record all this, but probably you will digest everything in 1 week or something like that. Now how I know that I will exactly need this number of tutorials? Because I already created the courses in my native language and they were extremely well accepted. So that's the plan. Okay, so see this dude right here? This ain't me. This Bjorn Strostrup. I hope that I said that correctly in English. And when we were at university, they told us never use white socks in a corporate environment like economy and banking and trading and stuff like that. But Bjorn is in IT, and if you are really smart, if you're a genius, if you created your own programming languages, well, it's allowed to use white socks. And the reason why I'm showing you this picture is, see this CRT old monitors and old style chair and stuff and keyboard, probably mechanical, and this COM2 port mouse. Well, this picture is old and C++ is old. Let me show that. It's 35 years old and it's based on C, which is 48 years old, half a century almost. That is telling you something. This thing is here to stay. Now here's the thing. Every time when I read about some programming languages, I always try to find the author on internet to see what kind of websites and tutorials he has. So something that I note here, all these geniuses that created their own tools, they do have academical, like really simple HTML looking website. Now this is for Bjorn, but check this out for Guido van Rossum. Also extremely simple website. I don't think that there is any CSS right here. And check the Larry Wall, author of Perl. Man, this yellow color is absolutely killing my eyes. So thank you Wall, but I'll just go with the C++ for now. Anyway, this was just something you maybe want to pay attention to. Anyway, C++ is a low-level programming language that will, when you compile source code, it will spit out executable, meaning it will be application that you will double click on your desktop and the thing will run. So it's not like when you're working with PHP or Python where you have a script doing stuff through interpreter. Okay, so there is a difference there, but we will go into all these nitty-gritty stuff really in details through tutorials. So the reason why you want to end up with C++, at least to understand this low-level thing, is C++ is used in serious environment, like it's used for system programming, it's used in electronic to create all kind of embedded systems, it's used in places where you need to squeeze whatever you can from electronics, it's used in game engines and stuff like that where you wanna really think about performance. Now when you're using extremely powerful machine, you don't care, you know that your PHP and Python and Perl will run really without any kind of hiccups. But if you have limited amount of hardware at your disposal, then you definitely want to optimize things. So this is the place where C++ shines if you have experience, if you know what you're doing. So you will not create websites with C++. Yes, you can do that. You can create servers, web servers in C++, but that's not the point. You're gonna use this thing for serious like applications, for desktop applications, in finance, in security, for different servers, for e-commerce backends, for all kind of backup kind of infrastructure and secure environment and such a thing. You will use it into telephone switches and even in space probes and stuff like that. So you probably don't want to use PHP in a space shuttle with the remote control option. Anyway, so I said that this thing is old, which means that if you dedicate yourself to learning this low-level thing, it will help you tremendously to find a job in those places that are extremely dedicated Okay, so it's not web development where you can switch from one language to another like every couple of months or framework. Here, when you stay in a specific line of work, your expertise will grow up so big day by day, and you will kind of lock yourself up. But that's good because that means that in the job market you will be a valuable person. Everyone around you, you have web developers, but C++ people who do that, they are, well, their mindset is kind of different. They just decided, to hell with this web stuff, I'm gonna create some low level products. Okay, so don't worry about finding a job. Maybe if there is no job in your town, in your country, you need to relocate, but that's what IT is these days. So maybe it will be harder to get a job with C++ if you're living in a smaller country, smaller town, but if you want to work in serious environment, in serious companies, in companies that last for decades, they will search for for people with this kind of knowledge and expertise. Right. Now, when you save your files, pay attention about a couple of things. Do save it with the CPP extension. Do not save it as C or something like that. Just use CPP and you will be fine. So, couple of things here from history. C++ is based on a couple of these very serious, like military type of languages. And that's a good, because that means this thing is serious. This kind of mindset is something that will create products that will last for decades. We are not talking about websites, we are talking about applications that will run for decades without any kind of change. Okay, so serious stuff. Now, if we look into philosophy of C++, and we're gonna go through this shortly, let me find a couple of lines here. Yeah, so one of the important, well, at least for me, is there should be no language beneath C++. So extreme low level stuff. And when you learn this, you will learn how to deal with core of any system out there. Okay? So another thing is C++ is not enforcing any kind of programming style at you. Maybe your company will, but C++ as programming language will totally give you that option to choose. Check this out. Programmers should be free to pick their own programming style, and that style should be fully supported by C++. So if you're a lone wolf and if you start liking this low level stuff, you're gonna love this or learn to love this over time. And yeah, I don't want to go into too much of theory here, but don't worry about finding a job. And even if you don't want to end up in this field, still this experience will be valuable to you to realize how your high-level programming languages are awesome. Because if you end up in using, let's say, Python, you really don't need to think about some low-level things like optimization. You will just do your job. Sometimes it's not, you don't even care about OS. You don't care about architecture or hardware. You just write your script in Python. But the reason for that is some people did everything for you in these C++ and C low-level languages. Okay, so it's complete different mindset. So I'm very grateful because we have programmers who created these beautiful, let's use the term, tools for us, so we can build up our knowledge, our infrastructure, our startups, and so on. Right, 35 years old, and some people say when they're creating, especially in companies, when people who write specs for job, they will often say we need for C++ type of candidate here. But honestly, C and C++ are different languages. C++ is younger, it's based on C, but it's not C. It's C with classes in original. So that was actually the name for C++, C with classes. And then they figure it out, it's better to go with C++ and the rest of the history. Now, don't worry about finding a job if you're really serious. Sooner or later, if you use one of these low-level languages, you will switch to another one. So don't worry, you will need a couple of years to do that, but you need to be really patient and dedicated. Now, It is used in very serious environments and for very serious tasks. For example, if you check Stuxnet, and you probably know this from YouTube videos and the news, all these, let's say, cyber weapons and many other serious things, they are created in a C++. I think that somewhere around there is that line. Let me find that. C++. Oh yeah, so it's written in several different programming languages, but because Stuxnet is a big, including C and C++, which is also irregular for malware. Now that is telling you something. Every time when you're working, well, not with bad things that we have here, it depends how you look at it. Every time when you need serious stuff in the background, there will be something built upon C++ and C. Okay, so that's like a kind of short history and introduction. So let me remove these tabs here. Now, editors. In this course in English that I will do, I will use Code Block because I'm using Windows 10 right now, and out of the box Code Blocks will work perfectly. And in my original playlist in native language, I was using Bloodshed Dev C++ because I was using Windows 7. So if you are using old Windowses like from 95, yeah, right, to 7 or XP, think about using Dev C++ that you can grab from here. Okay, but if you are on Windows 10, you will be extremely pleased with Code Blocks, which is extremely nice working environment. So I do advise you to grab this if you're a beginner, and not just if you're a beginner. There is editors out there and working environment that are so massive, but man, you will probably use 5% of it. And Code Blocks will, for a lot of us, even professionally, get job done extremely well. So I will assume that you already grabbed this stuff, and you need to basically, let me cancel this, you need to go to download section and to binary release and to choose this option because you want to get everything ready, and you're gonna do that with MingW setup here. Okay, so you can choose between FOSS and SourceForge. Let's go to FOSS. I think I was downloading from where is that? SourceForge, and I need to cancel this. Okay, so immediately it will start downloading. So I already have it on my system, so I'm gonna also cancel this, and let's go to Code Block installation. Okay, let's double click, and in a split of a second we'll oh yes, I need to say yes here. So welcome to Code Block setup. This is extremely simple thing, so don't worry, there is no any kind of weird configuration. Everything will be set up for you. So next, and this is default path, but you can, I don't know what you're doing, but you can choose custom ones. It depends how many drives you have or partitions and such. So install, and this will be done in a minute top, so I'm gonna pause this video because I don't want to waste your time. Okay guys, that's it. Do you want to run Code Block now? No, because I don't want to go to 20 or 30 minute tutorials, so we'll just end up here. And thank you for watching. See you next tutorial. We're gonna go really into details because it's crucial to understand this compilation process. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Thank you for watching, and see you next tutorial.